double check that our stream audio is working, and I'll go ahead and get this rebar disassembled, because why not? Double check that our stream audio is working. I'll go ahead and get Seems good. I'm not sure how these wrenches are going to work with this Cerakote, so I'm curious to see if there's any scuffs, because we don't currently carry any frame variations on this store, but it would be nice to offer them. They come from the factory pretty mushed up to begin with. Let's take a look at that. Come on. There we go. So, that's not too bad. Maybe we could start carrying these. I'm not sure why we haven't. Because when we get too many frames, do we have any? Yeah, we've got a fair bit of black oxide frame, so I can get the same internal parts on a Coyote tan version, and then just list the frames separately. Let's see where we get today. A fair bit of tools to take apart today. A couple of arcs. Just gonna make a mess on the bench while I do this first couple. Get the rebars done, and then we'll jump into some more. This will just give some people a chance to jump into the stream so they don't miss out. Welcome in, guys. Just starting off with a couple of rebars to take apart while we let the stream heat up a wee bit. What's up, Alex? Welcome in. I did see your email earlier. I will get back to you, because that's a pretty cool idea. Let's do the pivot side of the other rebar. I'm going to push these out of the way just so I don't get crazy here. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much damage on these Cerakoted frames, so that's nice. They do come in a kind of a different texture. They're not as uniform as like the stainless, or even the is that DLC on the Arc. When you have a large surface area like on the Arc Obsidian, you can really tell. You can really see all the minor defects in the, or not defects, but the variation in the finish across the surface. It's good to be back in the shop. Last week I was out of town, so we did not have the streams, but let's see what happens today, see if our stream gets some traction or not. Feels like I may be punished by the algorithm, but that's okay. If you guys are new to the channel, we just spend every Wednesday disassembling some multi-tools to excuse me, to restock our shop. And we'll have some show and tells later. We're really excited about the show and tell. It's going to go towards our membership drive later this year. And we'll do a quick pocket dump, etc., etc. Oh, and we've got a giveaway running that we should mention in just a few. Shadow Slayer, welcome in. Thank you again for being a channel member. Just going to pop apart this rebar. We'll finish taking these apart before we jump into the main stuff today. Or we'll jump back to the pocket dump, I should say. My voice is a little bit going. Long trip with the family. And yeah, it is what it is. The show must go on. Carry Crew, welcome in. I wonder, these leaderboards are kind of funny. It just got enabled a couple weeks ago, and it shows who's, I think it's just who's commented the most, which seems a little unnecessary, but I suppose if people want to get in a competition about it, why not? This is the side that might get scuffed by the wrenches. We're going to find out here in just a second. Take a close look, because I'd love to offer some different color options of frames on the site. Let's take a closer look. I mean, that looks pretty good. It doesn't look any more scuffed up than it does, you know, out of the box. So that might be fine. Throwing parts around, that's all right. Hope that's all right. Thank you for that, Carry Crew. Appreciate that. That's some prestigious company, I think, with Dominic over at Max Level EDC. I think there's a good, we got a good little community doing custom, you know, parts and stuff for multi-tools. This is, I always find it hardest to get the stock parts, and that's why we started selling them. But Kristen Van Patten doesn't have a YouTube channel though, or does, but doesn't post regular content. Kristen Van Patten, Zap Wizard, and PC Doodle are some good ones as well. I know I've talked to each of them, and they do some really cool stuff. All right, getting there. Slow going this morning. I did take apart about 15 multi-tools before the stream started because we had a lot come in while I was gone. So I wanted to get, let's keep that there. Oh no, we don't need to keep that there. I wanted to get most of those started before the stream, just so we don't run super duper long today. I am, like I said, starting to come back from I think a sinus infection. So probably not up for the longest stream of the year this day. All right, I'm going to save those Cerakote frames. We may start selling those on the site soon. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that, just so I can gauge whether it's worth the effort. But it would be a nice thing to add if you could just swap out, you know, swap out the frames and get a whole new look for your Leatherman. Whoops, just threw that across the room. Hold on, stand by. Carry Crew says they carry a Roxxon and Toller Union, but they're always on the lookout for a Crunch and a Mr. Crunch. Absolutely. I finally did get a Crunch after they went out of production, but I did miss out on the Mr. Crunch drop early on. And yeah, good luck finding those for a good price. But if I found one, I would not mind it one bit. All right, we've got those rebars taken apart. Let me clean my hands up a touch. Do a quick pocket dump. I carried. Well, let me get into it. As we do every week on the live stream, doing a quick pocket dump today. This is my Roxxon Mini Flex Companion, and while I was out of town last week, this was pretty much constantly in my pocket up until the point where the pocket clip got bent out, and then it didn't have the retention I wanted. I do have that keyring mod that I showed in a previous video, and I just carried a car key from that and my key fob to get into our hotel room. And then it was super nice to just have my small folding knife there, as well as I use the scissors, like probably more than anything. I use these scissors, and they are very good for what I needed them for, mostly cutting tags off of things. And we had these wristbands that people needed cut, and a lot nicer to pull out a pair of scissors than a knife when you're cutting something off of somebody else's wrist. I like that it has the lockup. The pocket clip act as a really nice key dangler for everything in my pocket. Didn't get much use out of the screwdriver though. And yeah, I'll be rebending that pocket clip maybe here on the live stream. If you guys are watching after the fact, make sure to join us Wednesday mornings for our live stream EDC pocket dumps, etc. And we will get back to the live stream right now. So, since I brought it up, let's see about taking this thing apart, fixing this pocket clip. I think it's a T6 drive on this pocket clip screw. I'm using a T6 driver, and it does seem to be going. I've noticed these screws like to stick inside once they're loose, and they can be a bit of a trick to get completely out. So we'll pry around with that for a bit. Carry Crew says the Mr. Crunch is $1,500 on eBay. That's nuts. I didn't realize it was that high. I've got a couple. What do I have? I've got the Garage 5, I think, the 40th anniversary tool. And I don't think that's going for $1,500, but that Mr. Crunch did kind of start up the hype train. So I think a lot of people kind of realized how cool some of their garage stuff would be after the fact. So the screw, it's just spinning freely, so it should come out, but I'm just going to put some tweezers under it and try and give it a little bit of lift. There we go. We've got that pocket clip screw out. I'm just going to bend this back and hopefully get it back into the rotation today. So I've got my Knipex twin grips. And we're just going to squeeze that back. That should be all right. As long as that clip is past, as long as this bottom end of the clip is past where this line is, it should be sprung well into place. So let's slide that back in, if and we can. Maybe I overbent it. Nope. So yeah, that clip is going to stay tightly in place. Really easy to fix on this Roxxon Mini Flex Companion. And I don't think it was any fault of Roxxon that clip bent. I was probably just running around and snagging it on everything. All right. Well, hey, quick, easy repair done. Let's get the mat out so we can get really properly into our multi-tool disassembly. Like I said, if you guys are new, this is just our Wednesday live streams. We do have tons of modification content, etc. But every Wednesday, I need to restock our shop. So out come the Leatherman multi-tools, and let's get cracking them open. And we do have that giveaway for the SOG Power Pint going. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then I'm really excited for our show and tell today. Carrie Crew says they did a video on EDC for tradesmen yesterday. Oh, yeah. And the twin grips got brought up. They're pretty nice. I've got the bigger ones, the original. They have a smaller version now that I'm really keen on trying. And I keep them on the bench just to break open screws that get very stuck. If they strip out, then those are a lifesaver. But I think I could use a smaller version. And just generally, Knipex is awesome. I carry their pliers wrench on, I used to. I don't know. I don't really have it in my kit anymore for, as a lighting technician for video and film. But those were awesome and are awesome. And I've got the minis as well that I just brought up on my trip just as an option. I don't know that they got much use, but I did get a little use out of the kit. I fixed the brakes on my cousin's bicycle, so it's like, heck yeah. If you guys are looking for stuff, obviously the comment section, people might have suggestions, and feel free to post on the communities tab over on our channel for people that that might want to move some product. Obviously, it's not a sales marketplace, but it's open for you guys to reach out to each other and figure that out on your own. Shadow Slayer says they keep 2 pairs of Cobra pliers in the tool pouch. Do you keep the big ones or the small ones? The tool pouch, I guess they'd be bigger probably, right? I mean, they go up to, they get huge, but what is it? The 180 seems to be pretty common, or the 250 maybe. It's in millimeters, so I don't know which size is which. But the little ones are good, and I've got the kind of 8-inch water pump plier style ones that I use all the time. Gary Crew, they have smaller version now. Good God, Knipex knows how to get my wallet open. Yeah, yeah. They released the main. What size are these? The 200 millimeter versions, and then it was like a year later they came out with, I think, a bigger version and a smaller version, if I'm not mistaken. It's not quite like super pocketable probably, but it's a little smaller than these. The 250s Shadow Slayer has of the Cobras, and that's what I have in my toolbox at home. They're my go-to large pliers. Okay. Let me know how that goes, Gary Crew, when if you mod that crunch, because I have a crunch, but I'm too scared to mod it. But I assume it would fit any of the kind of rebar-sized tools on the inside, which would be nice. And I love a career-focused or a trade-focused multi-tool. That's kind of my jam. What got me into modding in the first place, I think, largely. Plus the fact that I can't help but take things apart that shouldn't be taken apart. Let's get these pivots out of the way. We got half of the super tools broken down. Always on the lookout to see if they've got the old style plier heads. I'm trying to figure out how to make those available to you guys, because I know some of you are interested in mostly the old cutters, and I've got a few plier heads here that have the old style cutters, but I don't know if I should sell the plier heads with them or just the cutters by themselves. And they're rare that we get them. I think we've gotten 3 that I've noticed in my whole time of taking these things apart. But we're working on it. Always something to be working on, I suppose. So we'll get these. Carrie Crew says, I think Leatherman needs to get away from the Nike basketball shoe style branding and just get back and release older tools with a better focus and update them as well. I don't disagree with you there. Oops, that one's sticking. Let's flip that around. I think, like, I think they're going to release one tool a year, one main tool a year. Obviously the knives was kind of an addition thing that they just dropped. The colorways, I don't care for them, but I'm hoping that it costs them very little development time. I'm hoping that it doesn't pull engineers away to figure out, hey, how do we make this blue, when they could be figuring out how do we make the wave, you know, updated for 2025. If it's not pulling away from that, release as many colors as you want. But yeah, let's see a focus on innovation, because there's going to be these more agile brands that are just coming out with 30 tools a year, and you know, yours have got to be innovative if you're going to be the big brother of the multi-tool industry. Alex asked if I ever get the Wave with the cap crimper. I don't. And I looked into getting like the Charge back when it had the cap crimper, and it just wasn't cost effective. Like the price would have to be so exorbitant for the few parts that are unique to the Charge. You know, the bit driver would hopefully sell for the same price as the Wave, but then the cap crimper pliers would have to just be double the price to make up for the price difference in getting the tools themselves. So it's kind of a weird. I've had to be a little bit more selective than I'd love to have every part available, but some of them just don't make sense. Somebody asked me the other day if I ever got the parts from the Swiss Champ XLT, which has got just a few extra parts from the Swiss Champ, but the price difference is absurd. So I just can't justify getting the XLT in to part out. And we've had to settle with just the Swiss Champ. And Alex also said, new art colorway, August 19th. Yep. I saw that. Can't wait. It'll be around for a week, right? I mean, those ones aren't even permanent, which is crazy to me. Shadow Slayer says they're getting ready to attempt brass plating on the Arc using the torch and brass brush method. Okay. Attempted it on an old PST frame and turned out pretty good. Just need a new torch. Always need a new tool. That sounds cool. Let me know how that goes. Post that on the community tab. Yeah, that sounds like a cool mod. Are you going to remove the is it DLC? Are you going to remove the black coating first, or is that going to come off? It might come off with the torch. Carrie Cruz says the Arc really hit me in the gut, to be honest. It's not a super big update besides the MagnaCut, but for the price you could get a full MagnaCut fixed blade. Yeah. I like the tool set on the Arc fits me well, but it's one of those tools that I don't really recommend to people because the price is so high. It's not a good fit for a lot of people, in my opinion. And so it is a really tough ask when, you know, it's $250 and you can get a Wave for, what, $125? And like you said, you know, if you're interested in MagnaCut, you're probably interested in a fixed blade or a folding knife, and so you don't need it on your multi-tool. Kind of an odd option in my opinion, but it does fit me well, so that is my go-to. But I also run a multi-tool YouTube channel and store, and can justify the price. Shadow Slayer says they'll see how it holds up to the heat. Yeah, let me know. I'm very curious. I did do the black coating experiment 2 weeks ago on some P4 frames, and I just cannot get it to stick, even with the stainless steel specific style goo that you put it in. I may end up going to a local shop and see what they can do, but I don't know. I mean, the price once you get into that at a really small scale might just be, you know, untenable. So we shall see. There's always some project in the works, and hopefully more coming to you guys soon. Hopefully more that get off the ground. Let's see here. Let me grab some bags real quick. get these parts out of the way. And maybe we'll chat just briefly about our members giveaway going on right now. Till I think the end, last couple of weeks of August. Carrie Crew says the Gerber Strong Arm comes in Magnica for like $125 to $150. Yeah. I mean, I saw at Blade Show this year just plenty of Magnicut from like small makers that were under the price of some of these Leatherman options, especially the fixed blades that Leatherman just launched. Shadow Slayers, they've seen people heat up parts and dip them in vegetable oil. Yeah, that maybe it's a heat issue. I did prep them in some acid, but we'll keep playing around with it. All right, guys, if you are a member, you're already automatically entered, but we do have a SOG Power Pint giveaway going on. Brand new. This was sent to me from Blade HQ with a previous order, not a sponsored thing or anything, but just free with your purchase. And so I'm going to give this away to one of our members at the end of August. There's a show and tell video up right now on the channel that has all of the details, so make sure to check that out. I don't want anyone to get fooled by someone in the comments or whatever, but all the details are there. And if you become a member, we'll get this SOG Power Pint out to one of you at the end of August. So that's the plan with that. We're doing member giveaways through the end of the year. And we are going to have a membership drive. So if you're still a member or you become a member before we end that membership drive, I've got some more goodies to give away because it sounds like a fun thing to do mostly. And these live streams, when I might do a nice long 6-hour live stream, and maybe not 6 hours, but we'll do a really long live stream and get some people involved and have some fun and have our giveaways going. So we'll talk about that in the future once I get a plan in place, but I've got a little teaser for that coming up at the end of this stream. I started with the arcs here, but I'm gonna move them aside. We're gonna do those 2 waves that I have on hand first, just because I've already got the screwdriver set up for the T10 bits. So out comes the vise. Still trying this Vera screwdriver out. It's got some pros. It's got some cons. I may need to use. I love the Vera screwdrivers, but I may need to go to a different size or a different version of this. So let's see how it works here. I just need more clearance on my hand from running into the vise. But what's awesome about this is now that it's loose, I can just spin it straight from the collar there. Oh, that's a good point, Carrie Crew. I could etch the blade with a 9-volt battery and some vinegar and salt. I have seen that done. This stainless steel that Leatherman uses is pretty robust, though. Not exactly sure. I need to look up the specific. I think they've said it in some of their Reddit AMAs. And maybe it's something to do with the specific style, and I've got the wrong formula. I'm trying to do it at a larger scale, so the more work involved, the less, economical it becomes. If I can do it with a cold bluing sort of style, that would be ideal, but I haven't given up on it, so more to come on that topic. All right, we've got the 2 waves started here. Let me get the vise out of the way, and we'll pop these parts free. Skylar White, welcome in. Am I under arrest? For those of you that don't know, Skylar White is a character on Breaking Bad. I assume everyone knew that. Alrighty. Carrie Crew says, if you upgrade the acid to something from a pool supply store and add a few 9 volts in series, it'll definitely do something. I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think I want to find out what that's going to do. That sounds diabolical. .400 series. Yeah, I think I'll definitely check that out. But I think what I bought is for 300 series. I don't know what the difference is, but maybe 400's more corrosion resistant. It did get the black, like there were sections of the parts I dipped that were perfect, but it was so inconsistent and a lot of it just flaked off immediately, to the point where I kind of lost the faith, and those parts have since rusted quite dramatically, which is kind of the opposite of the point. I know you're putting it in a oxidization solution, but welcome in, Xanax. Welcome back, I should say. Alrighty, let's make sure these parts go into discrete piles here. We're just going to set them up alongside the vise, so sorry if it goes out of frame. I have faith that you guys can imagine what's happening off to the side. With these parts sticking further out to give clearance for the screwdriver handle, becomes a longer lever arm, and then the part wants to spin in the vise. That's what's not ideal. I always prefer a shorter. I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to go. I always prefer a shorter shaft on a screwdriver. Gives you more control, in my opinion, but sometimes you need the reach. One more frame to break down, and we'll get all the parts harvested. And this one is sticking. There it goes. I am surprised the amount of torque I can put on this smaller handle from Vera. Oh, and we are, fingers crossed, we are going to have our Vera bits available on the site soon. And yeah, it'll be the same bits that I use in the shop every day. So hopefully those will be launched soon. The order should have finally been properly placed. And yeah, excited about that. I was waiting to announce it until I had confirmation of the order. And this has been a process that's taken over a year to get those bits from Vera, but now they are on their way, and we are going to have some proper bits in stock that I can recommend to everybody that I have tons of personal experience with. Alex says, speaking of shorter shafts, the LTT stubby is his favorite for modding. I have the full-size LTT screwdriver, the first one they released, and that thing is amazing. I keep that at my bench at home for electronics and whatnot. No doubts that stubby is on par with it. I think that my first comment when they released the stubby was put the shaft from the stubby on the handle from the full size. I would be hard-pressed not to make another purchase if they ever do that, because that is my ideal style of screwdriver. Voice is going. Let me get some water real quick to get those waves broken down, and we're going to get right back into it. All right. Yeah, the regular it's got like, they're not joking about the work they put into the engineering on that screwdriver. If you guys don't know what we're talking about here, it's the Linus Tech Tips screwdriver, the old YouTube channel about computers and electronics and whatnot. And a couple years back, they released their own in-house screwdriver. It's got a licensed mechanism in it. Is it roll gear? Not roll gear. I can't remember who makes it. But it's got a custom handle. They've done a bunch of work to improve the back drag and the well, let's see, back drag, and then what's the, I don't know. It spins really smoothly. Let's leave it at that. And it is probably one of the nicest screwdrivers I own. I've got stuff from Vera. I've got stuff from Snap-on. It doesn't hold a candle to the Linus Tech Tips screwdriver, though the Linus Tech Tips price is quite high. Will asked if I can show it. I can't. It's at home, and I'm in my shop. Maybe I'll bring that in. Just do a screwdriver overview. It's not really my typical content, but I've got tons, so why not? We could pull it up online, maybe. Let's pull it up online. I'll just show you a picture of it. Good enough, right? That's a bad picture. Is that going to go to the store? That'll go to the store. So, here is the LTT screwdriver. Full-size handle. It's got the knurling on the shaft, which is awesome for spinning. It also comes with, does it show here? It comes with bits, yeah, down here. So you can see that's the bits it comes with. And in the handle, it allows you to store two back-to-back of their shorter bits. So they're a little bit shorter. Up to 12 20-millimeter bits. The normal bits would be an inch. They did a ton of work on the mechanism. It's just got the smoothest ratcheting feel of any screwdriver I've dealt with. And then Alex was talking about their stubby version, which is about the same, but it's got obviously a stubby handle, shorter shaft, and that's awesome. I just wish it had a longer grip. So like combine the shaft of this with the grip of the main one, you'd have the extra stuff. And there's the price on it is the problem with it, which I understand. I think it's all made in Canada. It's got, you know, lots of engineering behind it, and pretty cool tool. I definitely recommend it. Carrie Crew says Klein makes an amazing stubby ratcheting driver with double-sided bits and the HVAC socket tools. Yes, I think I've seen that. It's ratcheting, right? Yeah, you said ratcheting. Yeah, I have seen that. I haven't got my hands on too many Klein tools. I know they're well respected in the trade, so I maybe need to get my hands on some. I've tried like a Milwaukee one that just didn't cut it for me. Like, it's just no comparison to the feel of some of these much more expensive versions. Happy to show that, Will. I'll have to bring it into one of these streams. I'll have to remember to grab it, and then I'll leave it here in the shop, and for months I will have no screwdriver at home. And that's all because of you. Tim, I'll definitely check out. Oh, welcome back, Tim. I'll definitely check out the Klein screwdrivers. Alex got a good tip to look for the LTT sales. I don't have the link to it. It's I'll pull up the web address though. It's going to be lttstore.com. lttstore.com, and just look up their screwdrivers. I think they only have the two screwdrivers at this point. Oh, they have a precision bit set as well, which looks kind of like it's inspired by iFixit set. I don't know if it's the same. No, it looks like a new style. Yeah, it's not quite the iFixit style driver, but tons of different. Oh, they have an end cap set for it too. That's odd. What else do they have on this site? Blog post called Frickin' Lasers. They have a bolt action pen now. What's this? Shaft extension. Ooh, I wonder if I could. Oh no, that's not what I want. Yeah. So they're kind of getting into the. They've been in the screwdriver game for a bit now. I don't have much to say about Craftsman drivers either, but I do love the old stuff. I'll agree with you guys there. But yeah, I think the newer, even the USA made Sears stuff, after a while it started to, the few things I have seemed to have dropped in quality. Well, good price. Do I have the right bits? What did I do? I don't have the right bits. That's a T9. What's this one? T9. You stupid. All right. T8 bits work much better on the Arc. Although Zap Wizard always says he uses T9. I don't know, from Weha, which I think are good bits. But with the Vera set, the T9s are definitely too big, and I don't know if they're just to a different tolerance or what. My grandpa gave me a set of, what are they, ignition wrenches. It's just a tiny set of combination wrenches, and they were older USA made Craftsman, and all standard. And I went, you know what? Let's get the metric because I'm a completionist. So I went on eBay and bought the metric set, and it was clearly much newer, and it just didn't have the same feel. It feels mismatched. I almost want to go back and find a vintage set of those ignition wrenches, though I don't think I've ever used them. That's a lie. I use them on my Dremel, but that's just one wrench over and over again, so I don't use many of them. But I'm a completionist. I gotta have it all. All right, let's get this open. This is the last two tools of the day, so we are well ahead of, well, we're not well ahead of schedule, never mind. But we did get, we're on schedule at least, which is a surprise. And once we get through these, I'm really excited for the show and tell today because it's going to be awesome. I haven't looked in it yet. I haven't looked in the box yet. Obviously, I know what I ordered, but you'll see. I'm just going to tease that out for the next 10 minutes. Make sure whoops. I get paranoid about the stream failing because it's failed in the past. All right, there's those broken down. Let's get those pliers out of the way. Get the back ends. Carrie Crew says one mod they haven't seen is if you use a TIG welder to tack a Leatherman ratchet adapter to a Leatherman 1/4 inch adapter and take a 1/4 inch Allen in the end, you get a pen style ratcheting 1/4 inch tool. Oh. That's interesting, yeah. That would work. You know what that means we got to do, right? We got to play with this idea. So you'd want, what? You'd want this here, right? And then you'd want to TIG weld a 1/4 inch Allen in the end. Would you do that here? No, you wouldn't do it that way. You have to do it this way, right? I mean, if you welded that together, you'd have your pen style. You'd still have an adapter that could go into most, you know, could go into most screwdrivers. Oh, that doesn't lock. Wait, is it the wrong way? Oh, it locks in one direction. That's unfortunate. So you could still throw it into something like that. That's not a bad idea. I think if they just put some knurling on here somewhere, although I don't know how you do it. Yeah, or Zap Wizard has handles for these that are pretty slim. I bet you could 3D print something pretty nice. All right, that's enough. Sorry, I got distracted. Doesn't matter. Back in. We're rolling. We're rocking. We're getting her done. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. You're talking the adapter. Sorry, I'm reading Carrie Crew's comment and trying to understand like the adapter for the rebar, right? That goes because that would shorten it up a ton, and then the 1/4 inch would fit in the back to give you a drive. Yeah. Oh, I'm a fan of that. Screw TIG welding. Just throw some. Because you just need to stop it from coming apart. Just throw some JB weld in there. And with a 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch, or a 1/4 inch drive, 1/4 inch hex bit in the end, it'd be like an E6. Yeah, that'd be cool. I gotta get my hands on a Toller Union. That I kind of blew it off. I think it wasn't for me, but now I really want to try it. And it came out before the store was really full time, so I was like, I'm not gonna buy that. But it does seem like an interesting take, and I applaud anyone, you know, Goat Tool. I applaud them for their innovation. It doesn't matter if it's the best tool when it's a small company like that, presumably small company like that, and they do something new and unique. You know, it's got to even just like it's got to push these bigger guys to do more, and I'm all about that. Richard says hi. Welcome, Richard. Appreciate you being here. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, over here I've got the piles of hardware I'm trying to keep in order so that I get everything packaged up appropriately. That's awesome. Yeah, if it fits your trade, I mean, the one that really stuck out to me recently was the Next tool with the ratcheting crescent wrench on the end, and I've been using that on some film sets lately, and really good for that purpose, because you always need a crescent wrench, and that adds in your knife and all your pliers and all that together. Hey PB, little screw pop screwdriver is a great handle for the Leatherman. Yeah. I don't know why Leatherman doesn't offer a little handle for it, even though it'd be $50. There's a lot of keychain options there, I suppose. All right. We are almost there. We're almost to our show and tell for today. So stay tuned. Carry Crew says they love the Next tool with the crescent, especially if you already carry pliers. The one I'm talking about has pliers on it. I think they had an older one with a crescent, and then there's a new one with a crescent and pliers. But the Toller did both in a small package. Yeah. I could definitely see having both of those. And aren't they separatable? So you can use the crescent and the pliers at the same time. There's definitely pros to it. You guys are convincing me to go out and buy a Toller Union now. Great. Just what I need to buy more multi-tools. I guess that's kind of what I do every day, isn't it? So, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to convince you guys to buy multi-tools. I swear. Shadow Slayer says the new SOG Tellus looks promising. I haven't seen that. I have been a little bit behind, admittedly. So maybe we should just look that up right now. I'm sure HVAC Budget has a video on it. Let me get these bagged up. And then we'll get into it. It's okay, Carry Crew. I have accepted my fate as someone with too many multi-tools. Pliers on one end. So it butterflies open like a normal multi-tool, and then on the end, when it's closed, the crescent wrench is accessible. I'll pull that up too. We'll take a look at all. I don't have it with me. It's in, I guess it's in the car, but I'm not gonna run out there and pause the stream. So we'll jump into that in a second. We'll pull it up on Amazon. Along with the SOG Tellus. Oh, that needs a pocket clip. Add a pocket clip. Yeah, you should. You should definitely do a video on the Toller, because like it didn't have that much. Like it probably had too much hype during the Kickstarter, and then people started getting it and having complaints. But if you look at it from, you know, a tradesman's perspective and kind of talk about, like, I think they deserve that, because they did do. I mean, they built a multi-tool. I ain't building a multi-tool. It's crazy. That's so much work. So I would definitely watch a video on the Toller Union. from a user's perspective. All right, let me pull these up. If the stream dies, just spam the chat because I can't see the stream right now. SOG Tellus, and you know what? We're gonna do this in a. Is the Tellus just a, oh, this one? Yes, I did see a picture of this. Well, they're trying something different. I'll applaud them for that. What is that, though? I need to know what this is. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It just depends on the build quality for me with SOG, because I've had some real issues with some of the SOG tools. So if we look at the next tool, wrench, so there was this one. I'm just pulling up random links here, but this one didn't have the pliers. And that one's a little bit older, but they just this summer came out with the W4. Of course, we're just going to look on Banggood. This is available on Amazon, though. And this one, yeah, has the wrench built into one of the handles, opens up. It's got the bit driver, the knife, saw, and file. And this one has been quite useful for me with that wrench. So, not quite as small as the other one. It's a big, heavy tool, but works really well for my when I'm doing lighting tech. All right, let's get into this week's show and tell. As we end every stream here on the channel, we've got a bit, sorry for the noise, of a show and tell for you guys. I finally got my order in, not that it took too long, but I did just get this order in from a nice eBayer, and I'm going to start that over because I want to pull up the price first, and I can't log into my eBay right now. I gotta find out what I paid for these. Purchase history. Just try not to dox myself. So it's 15 Victorinox knives for $58.99. Let's get into it. As we do every week on the stream, we are going to end with a quick show and tell video. This is a lot of 15 Victorinox Swiss Army knives that I got for $58.99 on eBay. Did I dox myself in that? Do I have to start over? Hold on. Nobody look at that. I gotta cut the label off. We gotta do it again. We'll just do this. As we do every week on the stream, we are going to do a quick show and tell to end. This is a lot of 15 Victorinox Swiss Army knives that I got on eBay for $58.99. And these are going to be part of our future membership drive. We're going to be doing a live stream. We're going to be fixing up all of these Victorinox knives, or as many as we can, and then sending these out to our members. So if you are a member when we do that drive, or if you join during that stream, up to the first 15 will be getting a free Victorinox Swiss Army knife. Today, I'm just going to go through them and see what kind of repairs these things need, as well as what is in this batch, because didn't really look too closely. If they hit the price mark, I grabbed them, and so let's get into it. This one looks like is this a Tinker? Yes, Tinker with the screwdriver. Awesome. 91 millimeter model. I think that one's pretty easy. It doesn't look like anything's broken on this one. Some of them I saw have some broken parts. Here's an older one with the old style corkscrew on it. and that one is that a camper, if I'm not mistaken? Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, just same tool set as the Tinker, but with the corkscrew instead of the Phillips screwdriver. Let's look at some of these. Yeah, let's stick with the 2-layer models. So that one's going to be the smaller version. That's an 84 millimeter, and it looks like that corkscrew is bent. Don't know how I'm going to fix that, but we will find out in the stream. And this one here is another Tinker, it looks like. And everything looks to be functional. They all need to be cleaned out. That's going to be one part of our adventure. This one's a 3-layer. Do we have any other 2 layers? Yes, this one's another Tinker. Awesome. So a lot of Tinkers. I'll just give these out at random to our members when we get there. And another camper, if I'm not mistaken. Awesome. Sorry, I'm still going through these because I have not looked through these as of yet. So this one's got the corkscrew and the scissors. Not sure what model that is. Does need a spring here. We'll get that fixed up. No problem. We've got a couple like that. Oh no, this one's got the saw. So this one's is it a farmer? This one's got the saw blade, and then I can see already that that large blade is kaput. Let's see if we can get it out. Oh yeah, it's been sharpened in its new state. But yeah, that'll have to get replaced. This one's a 4-layer. What do we got here? The saw and the scissors. Okay. And yeah, various conditions. We're going to try and clean them up at least. Maybe replace some parts if we have the time. But subscribe now if you want to be notified when we do that membership drive, or just become a member and you may get one of these Swiss Army knives. There's another one with the saw and the scissors. I don't know what model that is. I'm going to have to look it up. This one has got some issues we'll have to suss out. That bottle opener does not close all the way. Scissors and saw, same as before. This one's just the scissors, so that's going to be a Tinker Deluxe, if I'm not mistaken. And we've got some nice translucent scales. I may have to try and polish those because I would hate to toss those out, but that is, again, scissors and saw. So, nice big batch of Victorinox Swiss Army knives for me to play with, clean up, refurbish, and send out to you guys. Become a member now or join us for our member drive later this year. If you're watching live, thank you so much for being here. We'll jump back to Q&A for just a second before we end. And if you're watching after the fact, Wednesday mornings is the time to join us, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, where we do pocket dumps, show and tells, and break down multi-tools and chat about EDC. We'll catch you next time. All right. Let me grab that box back out of the way. Set this off to the side. And that is that. If there are no other questions, JHG, welcome in. You're catching us right at the end of the stream, but that's okay. If you guys have any questions, I'll stick around for a wee bit, but it is getting close to the time where I get hangry. I need to go have a mid-morning snack, so I'll leave it to you guys to tell me how long to stick around. Where am I going to put these Swiss Army knives? We'll put them over here. All right, rock and roll. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure to become a member to get a chance to win that SOG Power Pint, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.